Am I the asshole for walking away from my pregnant wife on the beach? So we parked the car at the beach, which is about 100 meters away from the sea, and started walking up.
My wife is almost 7 months pregnant and is quite a slow walker.
I pulled ahead about 15–20 meters to get a lay of the land and to see how busy it was, etc.
My wife claims when I pulled ahead I didn't turn back to check she hadn't fallen over once.
I was not that far ahead, and I easily could have heard her if anything had happened. I think she is being unreasonable because it doesn't seem like a big deal. We have a very good relationship, we rarely fight, but this seems to have really got under her skin. Am I the asshole?
Edit. We're on holiday in a foreign country and it's significantly hotter than a temperature we're used to.
I'm also 6 female 4 and she's 5 female 1.
As the shorter, slower in most relationships, it is annoying having to semi-jog to catch up constantly.
I do understand that it probably is as annoying having to slow down. I get losing patience and wanting to go ahead, but she can't jog as easily anymore.
And this is your pregnant wife and kid.
You should want to walk beside her. And after the edit, yes, you're the asshole. She isn't as comfortable as she normally is, and now it's significantly hotter than a temperature we're used to. I'd want my guy with me, not 20 meters ahead. That's almost a block. You are the asshole.
You pulled ahead on foot? As in you just walked away? Ahead like you weren't going somewhere together?
If you were going to the beach together, why didn't you walk beside her? I imagine this is something you've done before, especially considering your height difference. It literally takes more steps for her to keep up with you. Is she slow or just shorter than you and pregnant while you're impatient? I hate this. Why not walk beside the person you are with? It is the normal thing to do. You're with someone, you walk together, not just wife but anyone.
If you want to sprint ahead for some reason, the polite thing to do is to tell the person this before sprinting away.
You are the asshole. My husband and I took some family that were visiting to Niagara Falls.
They've never been there before and were super excited and walked ahead of us, but because I was big, fat and 8 months pregnant, hubby stayed back with me and walked with me to make sure I was good.
You could have done the same, or just simply said, "Babe, I'm going to check everything out to see how busy it is."
It's all about communication.
Get the lay of the land. What are you, Lewis and Clark? She's pregnant and likely feeling extremely vulnerable right now. You didn't need to pull ahead and see how busy it was. It would have been just as busy when got there after you waited for your wife. At the end of the day, I'm not going to say you are the asshole because it's not that serious, imho. But you will be the asshole if you fail to recognize how your wife might be feeling vulnerable during this time. Edit. Please stop responding to this comment to tell me how serious it is to fall while pregnant, LMAO. I am aware. I have actually been pregnant. I was referring to the fact that I didn't think he was being maliciously negligent and nothing happened. Going out on a limb. You're the asshole. It's your child slowing her down. She is vulnerable being pregnant and petite and in a foreign country. Be a gentleman. Am I the asshole for declining a stranger to sit at my table in a restaurant? Hey. So stupid story, but I've wanted your input on this. I'm not native, so sorry for any mistakes on my part writing this. I go out quite regularly, usually once or twice a week. Always to the same 2 restaurants, and if not with my parents or friends on a special occasion, I'm alone. Now, 2 weeks ago I visited that one restaurant. The waiter directed me to a table of 4. He knows my name and my usual order, and after a few minutes brings me the starters. The restaurant got full to the brim shortly after I entered. All tables were occupied. It was then, as I was eating my starters, that an older woman, around 80s, I'd say, came to my table, put down her bag on the chair opposite me, without saying anything, and turned around to the waiter. She was a regular as well, started talking to him. The waiter could see the confusion on my face. As she was facing him and thus didn't see my face, I was in her back, the waiter could see both her and me, and I shook my head once to signal him that I did not want some stranger sitting with me. He saw that and told the woman that all tables are filled up right now, but in around 5–10 minutes there should be a free table for her. The woman then chuckled, saying that, "It's all fine, and I can sit here." He pointed out that she can't just sit down at some occupied table, which she dismissed, turning around to me and asking me with a smile if I had a problem with her sitting with me. I just looked her in the eyes with a neutral expression and flat out,
but not so that others could hear me. Said, yes.
She didn't like that answer, got a bit angry. She didn't make a scene though,
and grabbed her bag to wait in the restaurant's door.
Well, as the waiter predicted, after around 5 minutes there was a free table and she got to sit down and order.
Now while most of my friends, and also my parents, say that I didn't do anything wrong, and that it was weird she was actually just gonna sit down there, some of my friends said I am ta cause I was sitting alone anyways, so why would it matter to me? It was just me denying her a place.
Yes, I sat at a table of 4, but it was the waiter that gave me the table.
There is one table of 2 in the restaurant, but it was occupied as well. And even if she was a regular, I have seen her face before. I just don't know her. It feels weird for me to eat or read a book while some stranger sits opposite me and watches me doing it.
Also, while I don't know her personally, I do know she is quite a chatty one and most like would have talked to me without end. I go out, alone, to have some peace and quiet and enjoy some good meal.
But still does declining that woman a place at my table make me an AH?
Edit. Something I want to add cause it was brought up frequently, I'm from Germany. I've done this, once or twice going out a week, thing for like 5 or 6 years now, and something like this has never happened before. First time for me. Never happened to my parents or friends either.
The restaurants I go to don't have community tables.
So the one you reseated at is yours only. Not the asshole. I happened to go to a very crowded restaurant, where there were a couple of shared tables. If I wanted there was room at the shared table. Otherwise I would have had to wait half an hour. But apart from that, if a person sits at a table, even alone, that table is occupied. Not the asshole.
It strikes me from your story that the woman didn't ask you if she could sit with you until after the server told her, no. She sounds like someone who is entitled emo.
Not the asshole. You were directed to that table by the waiter. She was weird, intrusive and rude just to dump her stuff there without asking to join you.
As a fellow lover of solo date nights, I'd have done the same and declined to let her sit with me.
She can wait her turn like everyone else. Not the asshole. If someone did that to me I'd probably have done the same thing. She was impolite not to ask if she could sit down to begin with and had no right to get offended by it. Not the asshole. She assumed you would acquiesce and let her sit there. That's a special kind of rudeness. Not the asshole. Careful of anyone who calls you ta for setting a reasonable personal boundary. Am I the asshole for leaving my friend's house after she made me wait outside for 20 minutes? Me and my friends usually do get-togethers at my friend's house since she is the one with the nicest patio, backyard. 2 weeks ago we arranged our usual get-together and planned on playing board games. Nothing too crazy. She told us to come at 7 but since I do not drive and depend on my mom to take me everywhere I was a little late, 15 Melina prox, and forgot to let her know. When I got there I sent her a message letting her know I was there, to which she replied, "Give me 10 minutes. Nothing weird since she has done that before when she's not ready yet. After 15 minutes approx I texted her again asking if she could open the door since it was getting windy, to which she replies, "No. You made me wait 15 minutes so now I'll make you wait 20 inches." I was perplexed. She had never ever done anything like this before, and mind you, in our culture it's pretty common to arrive a little bit later than the accorded hour, 15:20 Malene. By the time she opened the door my other friend was already there waiting for her, and she did not make her wait outside like she did with me. I said jokingly, since that is how we talk to each other, "How unpunctual." Update. Thank you everyone. Me and my friend talked in person about this whole situation. While she seemed mad about my behavior, she also accepted that she was in the wrong and definitely not in the mood that evening. I also apologized for being late and promised to do better since I know it can be frustrating for others. Hopefully this never happens again. This is not a fancy restaurant reservation. 15 minutes either side is pretty standard arrival time for casual get-together. Info though, do you have a chronic habit of lateness that she has called you on in the past? It's on her to communicate her problem and give you opportunities to show you can be punctual. If she did and you still leave her hanging, then that's on you. If this was the first time she's mentioned anything, then her reaction was pretty immature.
Wait, so there was another person, running late, and she didn't make them wait outside? Did I read that right?
And it sounds like no one else had turned up yet, so you would have been the first to arrive?
If that's the case, then she must have some other beef with you.
Not the asshole.
Also, what is with her logic? By making you wait outside for 20 minutes, she is making herself wait even longer for her gathering to start.
What a petty spaghetti. Not the asshole. If it had been an hour or more, I would understand why she'd be upset.
But just a few minutes like that and then she has the gall to make you wait?
Oh hell no. I'd drop her sorry behind and go find better company. Not the asshole. What kind of childish behavior is that, or is it more of a sick power play?
It can happen that you're late, but that's no issue for a game night with friends.
You can do without friends like that.
You did everything right.
Not the asshole. I'm almost never late, and I hate it when other people are late because I can't focus on anything else. So I just sit there and wait. Unless I'm meeting up with several people and one or more has already showed up.
But everyone ends up in situations at times where they are late. And yes, you should have texted her about it, but 15 minutes isn't that bad. Hey, could you give me a heads up the next time? Would have been the appropriate response.
To punish you like that for something you didn't do intentionally is overreacting and mean. I'm surprised your other friends who were already there didn't say anything. I would have told her off and threatened to leave too if someone was acting like that toward my friend. Not the asshole. Your friend is petty and immature. Am I the asshole for financially big-footing my in-laws?
I, 39M, am a few years older than my wife, 32F, but we met 5 years ago, at very different phases of our lives. I finished uni at 19 years old, lucked into a great position in finance and became a partner of my firm, making me quite wealthy at a young age. My wife went through several changes of heart about her career path, involving 2 advanced degrees, through which her parents supported her.
She had only recently started her first full-time, professional, job when we met.
Her parents, born to wealthy families on the last bits of their fortunes, financial support engendered a belief on their part that she ought to pay heed to their wishes. While my wife found this behavior bothersome, she is conflict-averse and mostly acceded to their demands.
Her parents offered to pay for our wedding. It quickly became clear that they felt that their contribution entitled them to make most of the choices, including guest list, none of which were congenial to my now wife. The conflict clearly wore on her, so told her parents that we appreciated their kind offer, but that we would pay for the wedding ourselves. Perhaps having judged my financial situation by my modest lifestyle, they claimed we were risking our finances, merely to have our way. I just laughed and said that wasn't a worry. We ended up having a swanky destination wedding, accommodations on us, for our friends and close family only. After we got married, we experienced the same crap. Case in point, vacations. My mother-in-law inherited a beach house, and she insisted that we spend our vacations there at a particular time, to coincide with my SIL, even though the dates were convenient neither to us nor SIL. When my wife pointed this out, her mother's response was that it would be difficult to accommodate us at other times, as they had set plans with friends over the course of the summer. That since she and father-in-law were generously opening their house to us, we needed to conform to her schedule. Not again. I had been thinking about getting a summer place myself, so I bought one in my wife's favorite area. It happens to be bigger and nicer than MIL's. Mother-in-law reacted peevishly to the news, claiming that we were spitefully bankrupting ourselves to show her up, and that vacations should be spent with family. I replied that, as to the latter point, they were welcome to come spend time with their daughter and sister-in-law, who is great, on dates convenient for us. As to the former, I said that while I consider it gauche to talk to about money, she should rest easy about our finances, as the new place amounted to less than my last year's partnership distribution, and that they would be wise to stop trying to exert control with money, since to do it successfully requires an actual fortune, and not just the memory of one as embodied in a broken-down beach house. My mother-in-law called me a jerk. I realize I spoke pretty harshly, but I think I was justified. Not the asshole. I think you handled that well. Truly, it's not her business what you spend your money on or how much you have or if you bankrupt yourselves. This is a nice story. Not the asshole. She started it, you finished it. And then everyone clapped. Not the asshole, but on the edge.
A classier response would have been, "You worry about your money, I'll worry about mine."
My impression is that in-laws were correct. You wouldn't have bought a beach house if they didn't have one.
Both your time and money would be better spent going to various exotic destinations rather than limiting yourself to visiting the same beach over and over.
What an interesting ChatGPT prompt.